So the complex sent out an email that there's been another incident of vandalism. I never had that until they opened up this new affordable housing, low income type of building next to us with no barriers. Even if there were barriers, people can climb fences, but we never had that problem before. Usually when you have low income, it's because you've got only one parent taking care of a lot of kids. And in that situation, I noticed when they first came here, they first started putting people in those buildings over there. Some kids would come over, they got to explore their territory. And they came over, and it was like, typical gang, bunch of teenagers. You ever considered what would you do if you had to defend yourself against younger people than you? Like, that brings in a unique situation because you're almost guilty until proven innocent. But anyway, my car's been broken in, my Jeep's been broken into before, and it was even before this place was here. But I said you gotta be aware of your surroundings. This weekend, it's Memorial Day. That's when the pool opens, and this is a private pool. It's not a public pool, but this complex has been here since I think the 1980s. So a lot of people knew about this place, and the times when the staff is here and when they're not, and so people will come in and try to take over a lot of times, and the police won't respond unless there's somebody from the property there representing them. So the old maintenance guy gets stuck with it. He's got to come out and they got to witness it, and then I've seen it happen before. They give them trespass warnings, stuff like that. But it usually ruins it for the people that are there with their family, kids and everything. And then here comes a bunch of wild and radical people that ain't, behaving any rules. And what you gonna do? Which brings me up to the other situation. Just because you have the means to protect yourself, whatever that may be, doesn't mean you need to step into everything. Let the police do their job. Record it if you can, take pictures, report it. Only get involved if you not getting involved would result in somebody being seriously injured or dying. The rest of the time, you're not a superhero. Yeah, the mosquitoes are coming out a lot, man. And I've given Buddy flea treatment, so it'll keep it off him, but like I said, I've cut back on just giving out the free handouts, and some cats are upset about it, but hey. Am I my kitty's keeper? Well, sometimes I try to be, but like I said, you just gotta face reality sometimes. You can't save the world. There's that thing. This is the exact one that somebody I thought somebody had picked it up and was going to use it, because I can't use it. I got too much stuff already. It's pretty decent. Somebody picked up and thought they could use it, and then somebody else looked at it and said, "You ain't bringing that crap in here." And they didn't even bother to take it back, put it in the proper spot. Well, I ain't gonna do that again. It's not my job, man. Yeah, I'd hate to have a really nice looking car and have it smashed, you know, the windows smashed. I've seen that happen here. I haven't actually seen, I've seen the aftermath of it. I think what it boils down to is being held responsible for the actions. You know, people get away with doing bad stuff all the time and slap on the wrist. No consequences to acting up. Actually, the opposite. It's profitable. Yeah. Why again am I not supposed to make a lot of money doing bad things? Well, it's a deep issue. Well, if it isn't an easy answer, then a lot of people are going to go with the easy answer. You know what was the best law enforcement when I was a kid? Dad coming home with a belt. If you'd acted up or he found out about something. I never thought about Child Protective Service or anything. It's like, you knew you were physically going to get it if you act up. Dog. See, even that dog, you would think, no big deal, it's a dog. Look at that fence. That ain't that great of a fence. Ain't been maintained that well. If that dog really wanted to come after me, he could go through that fence. Well, I got something for him right here. I can still move. I'm not going to use lethal force on a dog unless it's trying to kill me. Chorizo. Yeah, right before official summer is supposed to be some of the best time for walking and everything. Cool weather. Not when we got above normal temperatures and you live in Texas. making me reconsider. See, that cat's eating some food. Yeah, he's got a spot. And there's another one down here where they always had dry cat food and stuff like that. Not really the only ones I honestly can't resist feeding. See, there's more of them pissed off standing out there. There's Buddy back there. I'll feed Buddy, Shadow, and the mama cat. And that's a lot. But there's a lot more than that out there that expect to be fed, and I used to just like, oh, you want some food? Here you go. Now it's like, it's becoming an issue, so I gotta modify my behavior. But it kind of sucks, you know, not being really able to have a pet. Because I like animals. And me and Buddy have been through a lot together. See if that's him out there. He'll follow me up and give him some food. He didn't eat last night. I didn't feed anybody. I'm just tired. There's Cece. There's Baxter. Buddy's up there on his chair. He don't know the pool's gonna be open. Pool rules. Residents only. Yeah, there's no real enforcement to that other than you see something, you gotta call the cops. And like I said, they ain't paying me that well. I might do it if it gets really rowdy, but by that time somebody else has already reported it. Hey, bud. Sleeping? Catching some Z's? There's Baxter, this new guy. I like Baxter too. But, see, there's just too many cats expecting this. This is usually where I feed them. I'll keep walking. Buddy ain't following me, he ain't that hungry. Yeah. They got both doors of my Jeep here, you can see. Where it's been pulled out. It doesn't function. Right there too. See that indent? I never did that. I never shoved my keys in there that hard. But it's a Jeep. I mean, they're not super hard to get into anyway. And my mistake is I had just moved here. I was prepared to live out of the Jeep if I had to. So I had all kinds of stuff back in there. And yeah, when they broke in, somebody banged on my door pretty hard that night, but I didn't know who it was, and they didn't say who they were, and so I didn't open the door because I just got back from work. And I found out later on when I got up, found my passenger door wide open. And the landlady at that time, she told me, yeah, a guy saw it happen. He went up after they left and banged on your door, but you didn't answer. I said, yeah, I was asleep. She was kind of nosy. I don't know everything was going on. But yeah, all I had was liability insurance, so I had descriptions of what I had, but no real serial numbers. And I moved, I'm not going to carry all that paperwork crap with me. And I lost quite a bit of stuff. And no pew pew. I replaced the glove box with a special one called a Tuffy. And they couldn't get into that. They tried. They even tried crowbarring their way in, screwdriving, leathering, and it didn't work. But there was nothing in there. Nothing worth it, anything in there. You can't fit much in a glove box. But, yeah. So the moral of that story is don't have anything in there for them to steal that's worth anything. And that's usually the case, but, like a bug out bag, you would have to have everything all packed up, put in a little corner, and ready to go. Whereas if you got it in your vehicle, it's already ready. All you got to do is get your vehicle. The problem with that is theft. People get into cars, man. You don't have to be a skilled lock picker to get into a car. There are a lot of easy ways in with common tools. And so you just basically have to look like you're leaving for the weekend every time you get in your car. A bunch of bags on you. And that would arise suspicion if you're in any place that's populated. So, yeah. I don't know what the answer to that is. My answer is I'm not bugging out. I'm bugging in. Because you ever try to lug all that crap on you? And then you're going to miss it if you don't have it. I ain't got all that much, but I'm willing to stick around and defend it if I have to. But yeah, the real answer is a crap hits the fan situation is you're just going to have to figure it out as it goes along. There's no manual written on it. If you make the right decisions, you live. If you make the wrong, well, you won't be able to pass that knowledge down to anybody else. Really, ever since you were born, life has been against you. It's a struggle to live, no matter where you're born. But you definitely have an advantage depending on where you're born. An advantage or a disadvantage. And depending on who your parents are and what their values were. And if they pass them down positively or negatively. Yeah, somebody wanted that, but they didn't really want that. They thought they wanted it. I do that all the time. I'll have something that, like a knife, I put in my wish list, and I keep looking at it, watching reviews and everything, and then later on something else comes up, and I go back and look at that one and think, why was I wanting that one? What's so special about it? The shape, and if you start analyzing that, and you don't have a good answer, yeah, it goes by the wayside. Man, before Smoky changed their website, I had a huge, hundreds of knives wish list. You know, if I liked it, I put it in the wish list. I didn't necessarily buy it. And a lot of times they go in the shop cart, but I remove them, save for later. So, yeah, there's always going to be some knife out there that you want. It comes down to, once you've got it and you've had it for a little while, are you still happy? If you're still happy, then it doesn't matter about anything else. Blade steel, blah, 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 whatever, you know. Really, if you can't please yourself, and I mean that with, you know, like, you're happy with your purchases and stuff, it probably wouldn't hurt you to cut back on things that are not rewarding you positively, you know. Or because, yeah, I mean, if you get obsessed, you got to have every latest knife that comes out because it's the most popular thing and it's being reviewed. Well, you know, if you're a channel that reviews knives and you can justify it, you could probably do that, you know. But if you're just the average Joe, I don't know. You know, if you don't have a channel to show off your stuff or Instagram or whatever, then nobody else knows that you got that but you. Are you happy? Or were you just following a trend or a fad? For me, I've done a lot of impulse buying on knives before. You know, like, well, I like this color. There's only 2 more in the series. You know, you come up with an excuse. Pretty easy if you want to buy a knife. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I mean, I'm not discouraging people from buying knives. It's just, don't let it become an issue where you're not happy. You're not happy with what you bought. Well, learn from your mistakes, you know. Return it. Maybe don't buy knives late at night under the influence. You know, you've been drinking all night or whatever. And you get on the computer and then everything. You're like, it's like a bar. Late at night after a lot of alcohol and dim lights, that girl that you thought was a dog when you walked in looks pretty damn good. And that's because your inhibitions go down. So a little voice in your head saying, you don't need that, you can't afford that, goes to, hey, that looks pretty cool. You need that. And how you going to resist, man? Your own voice in your head is agreeing with you. Well, that ain't always the best choice. You'll find out. I'm not teaching anybody anything they don't already know. Just walking around before it gets too hot to walk around. It's already too humid and it looks like it's going to rain. Even though they said it would happen to the west, it wouldn't even hit this way. It sure looks like it could rain if it wanted to. All depends on which way the wind blows. Well, I think I've bored you long enough. Loud compressor. See, that's the problem of having a balcony right there. There's always going to be somebody. When I first moved in, they tried to offer me this one here, which isn't too bad. It's kind of kiddie friendly. You got a little bit of a front yard, but that just kind of like sticks out. Cluster of air conditioners. Well, see, these aren't too bad. They're fairly quiet. But you get an old rattly one, and it ain't exactly white noise. Here too. You think you're sitting next to a transformer, high voltage power line or something. That's why when I had one on the balcony, I thought facing the pool would be a good thing. It's not. It gets quite noisy. There's those apartments are not insulated well. So all you'd have to do is resurface that front there. It's a little dinged up, but I mean, anyway, it's nothing special. It's just, I hate to see people throw away perfectly functional things when they could have dropped it off at the Goodwill or something like that. The whole problem is they're lazy. They didn't want to move that stuff. They barely got it to the trash can. They just wanted it out of the house. I know how it is on moving. You start paring down weight. Like, man, do I really need that? A lot of it winds up in the dumpster. Well, if you're a decent person, you'll put it out to the side and let somebody have a chance of recovering it, especially if it's something that's alright. But things like mattresses, man, you should have figured that out. You know, when if you didn't want that mattress, you know, don't leave it, because nobody wants your bug-ridden, stained mattress, you know, except for Boris. He likes them. He sells the bugs. But yeah, for my carry today, this little walk, I got an SE3 at my waist. I gotta stop when I do this. How did William give himself an appendectomy? Oh, he was walking and talking, with a knife in his hand, and tried to resheath it. And he did, in himself. Yeah, you don't want to do that. No matter what you're doing, take time to resheath your knife if it's a fixed blade. Don't think you know where that sheath is at. Find out that you got a new hole in your butt. Some habits you do when if you've grown up around knives are bad, and I think you'll learn that after a while. And some you just get lucky, you get away with, like closing the blade, a folding knife, slip joint on the back of your leg. Yeah, it only takes one night of too much drinking for you to find out that your leg ain't where you thought it was, and the point of the blade is not where you thought it was, or the edge is not where you thought it was. And yeah, that can be painful. Dog. See, they're just doing their job. Dogs are protectors, you know. They give out the alarm. Hey, there's somebody walking around. He's an old guy and he's talking on his cell phone. You know, he just said that in dog language, but most people don't understand dog, and they mistake it for he's barking again for no reason. We have a reason. You just didn't see it. It may have been a squirrel, a cat, a person walking by. If a dog barks too much, it becomes that alarm that you ignore. And it's just that again. Yeah, it is. But this time he really should be barking. Buddy getting a drink. I have water out for him. He usually doesn't drink it. See, he ain't hungry. He's still drinking. Yeah, cat sprayed down there.